polygamy, it depends on the individual. It is not too encouraging, but it is conditioned. Nobody wants to be, or rather maintain a polygamous home.
Those days, far years back, they didn't see it as any big deal anyway. Rather, they see it as something that, okay, if you have more than 2-3 wives, that shows you are very rich.
Polygamy society, I don't know for others, but as far as I'm concerned, I don't like it as a person.
There is nothing good about polygamy. It's a sour taste in the mouth. If you enjoy it for a season, at the end of it, you will cry.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Amazons.
Today on Amazons, we are talking polygamy. What does it mean? How does it affect marriages? What is the cultural implication of having more than one wife? Can a man truly love more than one wife? What are the conditions that makes a man want to engage in polygamy? And why would a woman also want to be married to a man who already has a wife or maybe two and become the third? This is the discussions on Amazons today. You're welcome. Bimbo Dolapo. Wow. What is polygamy?
Polygamy is when a man's eyes roams and he keeps roaming and he keeps marrying and marrying. It's polygamy.
A greedy person. It's not a culture, it's not a tradition, it's just the preference for two or more than a wife at any point in time. Some men say it's cultural, some men say it's religious, and that by religion they're entitled to 4 wives. So it's just it's this crazy thing of having more than one woman in the house as a wife.
But hold on, Bimbo. I mean, as women, obviously, and shall I say educated women, most women don't want to share their man anyway. But if you look into our culture in Nigeria, it's accepted. It's not frowned upon. A man can marry more than 2 wives, 3 wives. I mean, in abroad, it could be called bigamy when you marry more than one wife. But here, it's celebrated. The more wives you have, the more social status you're supposed to have. And so when there's nothing stopping, men from marrying more than one wife, one wife if they can afford it.
Yes, I agree with you. It is part of our culture, but I don't think we've evolved. You find out that in recent times, it's difficult to find a man with 2 wives in educated Nigeria.
Among the enlightened people.
I want to know the difference between having more than a wife and having a mistress.
Oh, no. Wives, you marry. You do the traditional rites. You marry the women. Mistress is just some woman you've given a flat, a car, or maybe not a flat or a car, just a woman outside the home that's not married to you.
That you also have, perform the same marital obligations to, as though she was your wife or she were your wife at home.
Yeah.
You have children with your mistress. Your mistress bills are your bill. Your mistress's concerns are your concern. You take responsibility for a mistress. So I think the African man is bold enough to marry more than one wife, as opposed to the ones abroad, who pretend to be married to one wife and yet have several mistresses abroad. For instance, in France, having a mistress is not frowned upon. Mistresses and wives know each other in France, for instance. So in Africa or in Nigeria, let me limit it to Nigeria, what would make a woman want to be part of a polygamy setup?
Aisha, let me answer that question. Like you said, you want to limit it to Nigeria. I think one of the things that will make women, or that actually makes women, go into such that kind of relationship or marriage sometimes, it could be financial. Because, and then sometimes it could be, maybe they're getting older. I mean, they have not been lucky enough to get married at an early age. And then when age, of course, you know, women, when age begins to be an issue in your life, you just want to find somewhere to belong. You want to be part of a family, or you want to belong to a man or something. And then also the social stigma, you know, on a woman who is maybe above the age of 35, and everywhere you go, people, and you're still single. In Nigeria of today, it is frowned upon.
So there's societal pressure.
There is society pressure,
family pressure,
financial pressure. Sometimes, or sometimes I'll say greed. Sometimes some women just want a ready-made home that they can just go into.
And for some women, look, it's the background that they're from. It's what they're used to. It's not a big deal. There's nothing wrong with it. If my father has 7 wives, I think I'll be inclined to be, it won't be a big deal for me if I become someone's 7th wife. It's also part of what they're used to, because I know I have a friend in Ibadan and their father has 7 wives.
But in this kind of relationship, really, Bimbo, a polygamous setup, you know, where children are involved, the women, you know, obviously the man is in a win-win situation. You know, it's the women who are competing to outdo one another in this kind of relationship. How healthy is it, one, for the woman who is constantly thinking, how would I be the man's favorite amongst the lot? And then the children are also, you know, competing amongst themselves. We want to be more successful than the other children. The other children are also looking at ways of, you know, it's a constant struggle, it's a constant battle, it's a constant political...
First and foremost, Aisha, that does not happen in all polygamous homes. You have polygamous homes where they're living in harmony. And now, for the women, I really don't care. If you decide to marry someone who has a wife already, well, tough luck.
You know exactly what you're getting yourself into.
He was married before you decide to marry him. Yeah. So whatever you get there, that's your business. For the children who are unfortunately, because some of these homes are not harmonious, those are the ones that where the children are particular about. But nothing guarantees that having, you know, a father and mother means that you will have a good home.
And then also, you said that in a polygamous situation, you said that it's a win-win situation. It's a win-win thing
for the man.
I disagree with you.
No. I'll explain it. I'll explain it.
Not true.
For the man,
with you,
in some cases.
No, let me explain it. For the man, he's the one who's married to these women. He's the one whom the women are competing to be favorites to. Yeah. He's the one who gets to say, this is the one I want to spend time with. For the woman, you know what it is emotionally when you are home with a man and you know that next door, this man is with another woman. You know what it does. You may say that some have learned to live with it, but it doesn't make it, you know, something you get used to. That's what I mean by the man being the one who is in a win-win situation.
No, I disagree. I disagree with you. Maybe in the, I don't know, maybe 100 years ago or 50 years ago, you can say a man is in a win-win situation where he can have 10 wives, and you know all of them are obedient and all of them are taking turns to do whatever it is they want to do with him. I'm sorry, in the Nigeria of today, please, 1 wife is 1 death, 2 wives, 2 deaths. Because women are enlightened, women want a lot more. Women are not, women are more exposed. So if you decide as a man that you want to take on more than 1 woman, there is a lot that comes with it. Because the stress alone, you know, that you have to go through. And then obviously with the financial pressure of sending kids to school now, it's not like in the olden days where you can have 20 children and you don't send them to school and, you know, you send them to the farm or you marry the girls off. In the Nigeria of today, the kids want to go to school. The mothers want their children to be educated. Believe me, you will be paying a lot of school fees.
And you know what? You know, one of the things we're not looking at is the fact that some women actually choose wives for their husbands. They are the ones that want a helper in the house. Not the man.
So let me get you right. That some polygamy or polygamous marriages are because
of the woman.
Of the woman who wants. Yes. When you say helper, I don't understand it. What does that mean?
I know of a woman who married a 2nd wife for her husband because she said that she's grown. I mean, she's not a young person, and there are certain things that she's not interested in anymore, and he's still interested in. I mean, we're talking sex here. And so she got him, she married a younger wife for him.
That is a very unusual situation.
No, actually, it isn't.
I think it depends on orientation.
I mean, if you told me that the wife is past giving birth, and you know she wants the man to she wants to keep the marriage, and then she goes ahead to marry for her husband in order to have children, I could understand that. But because you've gone past, I mean, unless of course you married a man who is younger than you. I mean, if you're aging with a man, if you're growing with a man, the man is also aging. So why doesn't
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that you guys have the same libido. Let's be truthful. You might have always been someone who wasn't really into, you know, sex. And then you're married and you have to do it. And then you get to a certain age and you're thinking, really, I don't have to do it anymore. And if you're still so interested in it, I'll marry you a younger wife. Here you go, darling. Enjoy. And that's exactly what happened in that case. Yeah, stunned.
I have.
It's a true life story.
I am stunned. We are talking polygamous marriage on Amazons today. When we come back, we will be having a guest who would come and talk to us on why a man can marry more than 2 wives and a woman cannot marry more than a husband on Amazons.
But when you build a relationship based on lies, because there's no way you can keep 3 women and 4 women without having to tell lies every day.
Welcome back to Amazons. We are discussing polygamy here on Amazons today, and Bimbo and Dolapo are having different views from what I'm having. I think that a man is the one who decides that he wants to marry more than 1 wife, and he's the winner in all of this because the women are competing for his attention. But there's a cultural coloration to why a man would want to have more than 1 wife. And joining us on Amazons today to look at the cultural perspectives to polygamy is Muyiwa Oshinaike, a culture consultant and a theater art practitioner. Welcome, Muyiwa. Thank you for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Please do have a seat. How many wives do you have, Muyiwa?
1, of course.
1.
Why of course?
1, of course.
Why of course?
Because I choose to just have 1.
So 10 years from now, you might decide that you want 2?
No, not 10 years. 2 days from now.
Oh, let's wait and see.
You see? Yeah, he didn't say no outright.
But really, what is culture and polygamy? Is there any relationship between the two?
Yes, culture is the way of life of the people. And if you want to talk about polygamy as in relation to Africa or Nigeria, let me just put it within Nigeria. It's part of our lives. It's something that we grew up to see and live by. It's been there as long as the time. So if you want to go to the beginning of polygamy in our setting, you look at when you discover there are people living on this soil called Nigeria. And what you see is a man with 5 wives, 5 different farmlands.
Yeah, but that was for farming. They were using them for labor.
Yeah, you won't say it's labor. What you call labor is family support in Nigeria.
Labor.
So each family, each wife has its own farm and the children. So the man just sits and makes most harvest at the end of the year. Depends on how many wives you have.
So the more wives you have, the more farms you have, the more money you make.
The more money you make.
You are.
And if you want to take it to the royal area, you see that there's no king in Yoruba land then with only 1 wife. It's forbidden. Even if you have 1 where you come in on the day of your coronation, you have presentations from different obas around you.
You send their daughters.
And even some of your subjects will say this is a gift and you can't refuse. So it's like, it's part of our lives. It's there. There's no sin here.
Is there love in polygamy?
Yes, love. And now or before now?
Before now and now.
Before now, there has never been love in marriage. You grew up.
It was arranged.
You grew up to love.
Yeah.
So
you're married to somebody.
You grow to love the person you marry.
Yeah, you grow to love the person you marry.
Okay.
Not now that I will go and meet somebody and say, I want you to marry me, and we fall in love. And no, you have to fall in love while that person is in your house.
Okay. But as a man, and you have one wife, are you for or against polygamy?
It depends. It's very relative. It depends on who that man is.
You?
Me.
Putting you on the spot?
No, don't put him in trouble with his wife.
No, I just want to know his view.
Tell Auntie what's going on.
I just want to know your view. I mean, because you believe in it doesn't mean you have to do it.
Sincerely, I wouldn't go for polygamy.
Okay.
I'm from a polygamous house.
Okay.
My father had 3.
Okay.
And I didn't really like it.
Okay.
Because it really affected my upbringing.
Okay, so it's more to do with the way you were brought up, what you actually saw happening in
yeah.
that polygamous home
yeah.
that's probably made you decide that, you know what, this is not the life I want for myself.
Exactly.
I think I'll be better off with one
exactly.
wife. Okay.
Is it possible for a man to love 2 women equally and
Nope.
treat them fairly?
No, it's not possible. Anybody in polygamy practice must be an actor as a man. And you know, we do practice all these things while growing up. When you have 2 dates, and you know how to manage a bimbo and manage
Dolapo.
and they will and they will not know, they will not get to know that this thing is going on. When you are with bimbo, it's 100% bimbo, and when you are with Dolapo, 100% Dolapo. So the man must be a very good actor to pretend to love when you are not. And you don't have to blame the man alone. You look at the part of the women. These days, women, they will prefer to even go out with a married man. When they see that this married man is taking good care of their friends and the children, and the Alhaji has about 4 other wives here and there. And she's not suffering. Okay. Instead of following this guy with suit and tie,
They rather go with the Alhaji.
With the Alhaji and then be kept somewhere. But mostly nowadays, the women are not always kept in one house.
Okay.
They're scattered all over. So that
not even in the same state.
Some not even in the same country. So that you can manage the stress of love. So, but no matter how infinitesimal the gain is to a man, same with the woman. But the most distrusting thing that I see there is that men should think of when they are gone. That's when the repercussion of polygamy.
Yes.
Yes, there's a lot of
children.
fights.
Yeah.
You know, we were speaking from the point of having experienced polygamy. At the beginning of this program, I said something about polygamy, you know, affecting
The children.
the children.
Yeah.
You know, so from your experience, I could tell from your discussion that you didn't particularly have a good experience in polygamy.
Very, very bad. I had one of the worst experiences in life. That if I choose to tell you now, you'll be looking for my father. But be that as it may, there are some people that will benefit in the same family.
Yeah.
While it's me, when I'm not enjoying it, my other siblings are.
Okay.
Is it transfer of love for the woman that you transfer to the siblings,
exactly,
right?
Yeah.
That you transfer to the children, which is where I was talking earlier on about having favorites. You know, you have a favorite wife among the harem of women.
And
therefore,
the children are
the
favorites.
children are favorites. And then in the same home, it would break down the psychology.
Yeah, very well.
The confidence of those children. You know, bitterness would set in. You know, I don't know if, you know, if I'm speaking.
Yeah, seriously. That sometimes I'll look at my junior ones, meet somebody, maybe the bathroom corner, and eat him.
because of
The
what is
anger, yeah.
because of what's going on
Yeah,
in the
the
you see
anger.
the thing is, in as much as you said when you came on, you said polygamy is a way of culture is a way of life, and because we're an African country and it was in the days of our forefathers, therefore it is something that is associated with the African man. It's not frowned upon. You know, now you said something as well earlier on. You said you practice it as a young man when you have one woman here and one woman there. And then as far as I'm concerned, for you to have a half-decent relationship, there must be some level of trust. There must be some level of, you being able to rely on your partner. But when you build a relationship based on lies, because there's no way you can keep 3 women and 4 women without having to tell lies every day. And once you tell one lie, you have to continue to tell, another lie and another lie.
No,
so where
sorry,
does...
let me tell you another experience. There's some men that found themselves in that kind of situation. And they paid for it because the 3 wives get to love each other very well.
Yes.
And the man is at the center. And whatever you tell this will tell this, and this will tell this. And the man comes home as if... I know of a friend of mine. Anytime we're in the bar and want to go and say, please wait, let's take one for the road. After one for the road, another, boy, go home now.
The man is afraid to go home.
See, let those women keep their wala jadi.
His house is on fire.
So we'll make sure they're about 1 o'clock before I get to. Go to most of these big clubs. You see them there. 1 a.m., 2 a.m., they're still there. It's when the madams are home, gone to bed, that they will now get back home and rush to their room. And then in the morning, 5:30,
they're out
then
again.
they get to the office and they're snoring.
Okay, but my question is, if it's bad, if it's causing problems, if it's stressful, why do it? Why do men get themselves into this situation?
Okay, I'll give you 3 answers to that. 1, because some of us don't want to flirt around, so whatever we want, we keep it at home.
Okay, so...
That is 1.
Okay.
2, because my father was the Akogun of blah, blah, blah town.
Okay.
I'm entitled
to.
Okay.
By tradition.
By tradition.
Okay.
3, I just want to be naughty.
You mean like I can do it, nobody will stop me, there's no
I
law
just
to
want
stop.
to enjoy.
I just want to do it.
I just want to enjoy flotilla of women in my house. And, hey, you come and sit there. Where's your mother? Call your mother. Where's my food? Who's me? I don't want this. Give me, Folake, go and bring your food. And then he gets out there. Who's there? Come over here.
Ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
Taking out of. Then the women again. You know quite well that I'm married to 3 wives. But because of my affluence, because I'm a popular person, you must marry me. So you throw yourself on the man. So many of them like that. If you go to eyebrow places in Lagos, you have mistresses here and there. And they take care of this mistress even more than their wives at home.
Yeah.
Madam will ask for 50,000. It's with kickboxing. Then the mistress will just ask for 1 million and it's with love.
I know.
It's
ridiculous.
So it's and there's, I'm sorry to say this, there's one calculation that Nigerian women do now. They will look at the age of the man.
He will die soon, so let me marry him.
60 years old, with 5 wives, lots of money, estates, companies, 62 children, 3 children is enough, 9 years, 10 years, 72, anytime from there. So, and you look at them, once they are 45, 50, they are independent. And they'll be rolling in the luxury of the man that's gone. And then the family will be boxing over it.
We'll come back. Because I want to ask you, what about those who are not in affluence? That go about, they are struggling to make ends meet. It's a constant struggle for them to send kids to school, to have 3 square meals, and yet they also are in polygamous relationships. What do you say about that? But we'll take a commercial break first. We'll be back on Amazons discussing polygamy. Welcome back. We're having a very interesting discussions in the studio. You know, some people have really gone ahead without minding their economic status to have more than one wife. You know, I'm talking, you know, the ordinary Nigerian. So what is it about men and wanting to acquire women as, you know, as properties? And what is it that would make a man say, even though I cannot afford to take care of the one at home, but I want to get a second? Why would a man do that?
Okay, let's go from the affluence to the ghetto. I give you an example now. I know somebody in this Lagos that runs 4 different beds. One sells clothes in Lagos, one sells children wears, one sells food, and the other one food items, supermarket. This man has nothing doing.
Jobless?
Jobless. This one, 2 kids, 3 kids, so 10 children altogether.
Wow.
So he moves from, he eats his breakfast from this shop, go and sit with this in the afternoon, move to that later in the afternoon, and go home with this in the evening. And they've been living together for about 15 years now.
And all the wives know one another?
Yeah, they know each other. If something is happening, everybody will come, they'll do a shwebi and go to the same party, and the husband will sit amongst them. You know, that's one. Then let's go to the area boys' corner. The area boys' corner is not all about I have money. It's who runs the town. Mm-hmm. So if Bukola Oniparaga is dating Jimo, for example, and Bola is dating Jimo, the 2 of them have two children for Jimo. And Jimo is the kingpin in town, not seen. If you ask him anything, it's with slap. And yet they will not leave Jimo alone. So it depends. Now, I want to seriously heap the blame on women today. This no more culture is about the women. You have a choice.
Yes.
You know the situation of this young man or this old man, and you still want to go into his house. Some will say, means I will stay with my property. What property?
The man is the property.
Upon beating you every day, you will not leave that house. So it's the problem lies with the women. The secretary of one MD wants to marry the MD, and it knows that my MD
has a wife. 3 wives at home. And still do make passes. And, I mean, it's about the woman now. Then let's look at the passage of the man, the transition of the man to the other side of the world. What happens after? Go look at Boromiro. 90% of topics on Boromiro is all about this man died, my junior ones did not want me to have the house, they start killing each other, going to police station, going to magistrate court is filled with that kind of thing. So if you want to laugh, go to magistrate court Tuesday or Thursday and see what happens to polygamy. It's not a good thing. It's really not a good thing now. If you want to look at the idiosyncratic value of it, in African setting, it's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
So I would advise my friends or my fathers out there that they should think again about polygamy. What are you leaving behind? True. Even when you are alive, you cannot satisfy everybody. And again, it sends them to the early grave.
Stress.
Yes, one woman is enough stress to hang a man before 70. You have one.
I beg your pardon.
But the same man is also enough stress
to hang one woman before 30.
No.
Before 30. You age overnight. One day you wake up, you have gray just because you are with a man. So,
do you know, I want us to, let us look at it from a legal point of view. Okay, what was that? I forgot, sorry, his name left, I can't remember his name. These big stars in America and in the UK and stuff like that. Okay, fine. They may have girlfriends. They may have mistresses. But in terms of going into what we call polygamy here, because like you said, or was it Bimbo that said it, that, you know, as long as you commit to look after a woman, or you allow that woman to be an extension of yourself, that person is your wife in our culture, isn't it? Now, these people have all these girlfriends and they do whatever it is they want to do. But you find that when it comes to getting married to a woman, you know, it's not something they just do anyhow like we do here. And I think it's probably because of the law, because for you to divorce, and if you're a rich man and you own God knows what, that woman can actually take maybe half of it.
Even more than half.
And I think that deters men from just going out there and deciding that, you know what, I'm just going to marry this person and marry that woman and marry that woman. Aside from that, the fact that if you marry more than one woman there, you can go to jail because it's against the law. But here in Nigeria, if you want to divorce a woman, you can throw a woman's things from the window and she goes off. Some people don't go to court to even divorce properly, and the man goes off and marries another woman. And he takes everything and he goes off to another woman. And if he's not happy there, he can move on to another woman. You know, so I think really and honestly, in as much as you say you're blaming the women, I think it's the society really. I think maybe we need to, you know, enlighten ourselves.
If you apply bigamy into Nigerian system, then nobody will get married. Because Nigerian men will not allow you or any court to put their basic things into two and give a woman
half of it.
So what will be happening more is you have more children without father. That's all.
You mean Nigerian men will then refuse to marry? Is that what you mean?
Yes, mostly.
But I think if when a man and a woman, or a husband and a wife, when they divorce, and when the laws in Nigeria make sure that, you know what, you will get half of it, I think it would deter a man from, number one, doing things that can lead to divorce in the first place, because he knows the consequences of it. A lot of these people, I mean, these big stars and these celebrities and everything, they would rather go and find a way to stay with their wives.
How many people even do legal marriage yet? They do traditional wedding.
Yeah.
90% of marriages.
But for the younger ones, I think, you know, this polygamy thing is for the generation before ours and maybe our generation. But the younger ones are cautious about, maybe because of the economic situation. I mean, it's enough economic task to take care of a home. Most of the young men are just starting life. They also are struggling to make ends meet. You know, so I see them not even looking in the direction of thinking about getting more than one wife. But it is still a culture. It is still a fancy for those men and for those women, and perhaps for some young girls, maybe because of greed, they don't want to start off life, you know, with a man who's just gone, you know, who's just graduated. He's not even sure when he's going to get a job, you know, and they are not sure that if we stick it out with this man now, how are we sure when things get better that the man will remain theirs? You know, do you think polygamy is dying?
For me, polygamy is not dying, it's just starting.
Really?
It's just starting. If you look at the trend in town now, ask your pastor, how many people get married in any church?
A lot.
No. Out of 100 young girls, how many people get married directly in the church? They first have kids here and there. There are some churches that it's only christening ceremony that they do more than one marriages.
No, I don't agree. I think
really
what's
depends.
going on, because if you look back, Nigeria of 20 years ago, 30 years ago, it was it was normal to see polygamous homes everywhere. Now it's rare.
Now it's kept secret.
No,
it's not rare.
Mistresses,
it depends on where you
even if
go.
they have children, are not your wife.
It depends on where you go. If you are in Lekki, you may not see polygamy. But if you go to the suburb, you will see. It's existing even more.
Really?
Go to Yanokwaja, you see Iyabisi supermarket, Iya Deborah soft drink center, Iyakudi, the same husband. It's happening. And you look at these small girls that are called Iya Deborah, Iyakudia. just about 22, 25. It depends on where you are looking. If you are facing this is what you will see. But if you go around and see.
Okay, is it because...
Me, I go around a lot because of my work.
Okay.
Yeah. I move around a lot.
Okay.
Around the country. And I see so many things. I ask questions. And I know that it's just starting. Even the young men now go to the East. They are not ready to get married. But they are ready to keep 3 women in one flat.
Is it because, like you said if you go to certain areas in Nigeria or in Lagos, as you said, that you would actually not see it glaring in your face. But if you go to certain areas in Nigeria or Lagos, you would actually see it being, people actually doing this. Now, those people that you cannot, those places that you go to where you can't see it, obviously it's not because it doesn't exist, it's because maybe everybody is hiding it, like you said, or it's being kept as a secret. Now, when you keep something as a secret, I believe that it's when you know that something is not right, and when you are ashamed of something, that's when you keep it as a secret. So does that mean that the people who keep it as a secret are enlightened enough to know that, this is not good? And the outcome of it is not good. That's why they keep it as a secret. But because it's still allowed, they go ahead and do it. And those people who do it publicly and blatantly are actually not that enlightened and actually don't actually know the consequences of what they're doing.
You look at this 62-year-old man from Ikoyi, very popular big man in Nigeria, about 3 mistresses all over. And after his death, you will see in his will, giving Bukola something, Chioma another thing, and introducing the new children to the family. It happens, it's just they keep it a secret. And it happens amongst the young girls now, because they cannot wait and struggle with that guy, that NYC guy, or that banker that cannot even afford to buy himself a car. So they rather go for that man that can push around 3 million to rent a house in Lekki, and then one flashy car.
Okay, if you say that this is on the rise, would you say poverty is a prevailing factor?
The what?
Poverty.
No, it's not poverty, it's greed. Poverty is very relative. Depends on how you measure your own level of povertiness. So if you're talking about poverty, if this woman can feed herself and 2 kids, and they still go to public school, and come back, and when it's Christmas, they will eat rice and chicken and wear new clothes, even if they buy that clothes at Bendam Boutique. And they wear it, and they will still go to Father Christmas and take pictures. That's not povertiness. When you want to see poverty, go to Ido and look at under the bridge in Ido. Sunday evening, you will see povertiness written all over some people. You will look at hungry faces, and you know this is poverty. So it depends on what you call it's greed.
So what we're
whether
saying,
from the man's side or from the woman's side.
So what we're saying now is that we're losing our principles as a people.
No, it's not principles, morals.
Our morals as a people.
Yeah, the moral as a people. So the family needs to do a lot, the mothers and fathers at home. Why it's getting worse today is because how much time do we spend with our kids at home? It's Ekaite, Udofia that takes care of the children. 5:30 a.m., the father and mother, they are gone.
Yeah.
Come back by 11, 12, the children are asleep. So how do you know your children? So when they grow...
We also said that the pressure from parents to push some children into polygamous relationships.
Yes, go and marry on time.
Some parents encourage their children to go into this.
They even plan it. Look, I've spoken with Chief. You have to marry Chief. This is what this will. They even arrange it. They arrange marriages so that their children can go to this house, so that they can continue, not because of poverty, because they just want to keep the affluent life.
Okay.
Say, I'm a rich man, you must not marry a poor person, so you have to marry this person, you must. The marriage will be so big, you will go to Malaysia to do your honeymoon. So it's an evolving thing within the family. So if we have to start working about it, I think the National Orientation Agency has a lot to do.
No, it will be difficult for the National Orientation Agency to do anything about polygamy, whereas in Nigeria there's, a religious what now that says that a man can marry indeed more than one wife. It says you can even specify you can marry more than 1, 2, 3, 4 wives, as long as you can love them equally. That law has also given a condition because it knows it's impossible for you to love 1, 2 women equally. We'll be talking about that after the break, Bimbo. Okay. After the break. Welcome back to Amazons. We are discussing polygamy in the studio, and the argument keeps getting heated each time we go on a break. I was saying before the break that, look, National Orientation Agency, what do you want them to do about polygamy? Tell a man who wants to marry more than 1 wife not to, or a woman who wants to go and be a 2nd, 3rd, or 4th wife somewhere not to. What can the National Orientation Agency do about it?
25 years developmental program. Every song that comes and win a Grammy, look at the lyrics. So they can start with music. Look at our Nollywood. I'm not saying they should give Nollywood money. No. Encourage them to write scripts that have moral values, that can change the system. Do competition among schools. Write
so are you saying that it is morally
do television
wrong?
Programs like,
it is morally wrong for a man to have more than one wife?
No, it's not wrong. If you can afford it, if you feel, according to our custom here and tradition, if you feel that you can afford it, and you can, there are some people that do it out of pity. Now look, I will look at you and say, okay, all right, it's okay. If I marry you, all those problems will be over. Then marry them and give the family whatever they want.
Why do you have to marry that woman? Why can't you help that woman without marrying that woman? If it's going to be out of pity. Some men believe
they cannot give you and let you walk away. That you have to be in there and enjoy the wealth. We've known so many families that grew up with that. So sometimes it's out of pity. Sometimes it is tradition. Sometimes it is greed. But whichever way it is, I don't want people to get... In years, we can change it.
And this is because you were in it and you understand. Because another man who has not experienced and gone through what you have been through would look at you and say, what is he talking about? This is the life. The more, the merrier. Yeah. And, it's sometimes it's good to have people like you speak about things like this because you're talking from experience. You know what you went through. You know the hell. Even when you were talking, you said, if I start talking about it, you will go and look for my father. I mean, you're a grown man. For you to say that, God knows what you must have gone through. So I think if people who have gone through this, who are, products of polygamous home, can come out and say, you know what, it is not good. It can affect your life. It can cause so much problems to you. And you can go through hell. Please don't do it. Then maybe you'll be able to touch people more because then you're speaking from experience.
But you know the argument against that. In the same you still have one man, one woman, children with issues. You still have single parents, children with issues. So what will kill that is...
And you still also have...
No, if you see that kind, if you see...
Polygamous setting, children that are happy.
There's a saying in Yoruba that if there's a rat wearing damask and lace and dancing in front of a cat, there's a hole beside it. If you see any woman...
So the rat can take cover.
So if you see any problem in any home, and it's one man, one wife, look at the man properly. There's a mistress. And if the woman is the problem, then look at the woman properly. There's a man.
There's a mister.
There's a mister.
There's a man. You cannot just have problem at home without anything. Something must... The wall must be open for a lizard to go. If there's no break in the wall. So if you see that one man, one woman problem,
There's
Look
a
closely.
there's always a
There's a
woman
third party.
somewhere.
Yes, there's
You know,
another party that is fanning the embers.
Not all cases.
No, there's a particular
Not all
party
cases.
fanning the embers of discord in that house. Look at it properly. Look, use your thin glasses to look at it very properly. You will see, no matter how high placed the man is or the woman, look very well, deeply. Somebody is fanning the embers of discord.
Yeah, in conclusion, Muiwa, you are a man. You've been, you've been, I don't want to say victim of polygamy. You've been a product of polygamy. In your honest opinion, what do you think of polygamy, sincerely?
Polygamy, if we can try, it should be eradicated. Sincerely. No matter how good, how sweet it is, it's always have a sour ending. No matter how sweet. Give the man 100 years to live. After the passage of the man, ask where are the wives? Ask where are the children? There's always a problem at the end of the day. So if the road we are treading has a deep hole at the end, why do you want to start the journey? You know, even the smartest of the smartest, the greatest swimmer, in his day would die in the river behind his house. The greatest of the greatest swimmer. So no matter how good you think you are as a polygamous person, the end is not, even if not in your presence. Look at all the big men in Nigeria. We've had names. Look at all of them. Look at their end. Look at their children. Look at the turmoil in the family. Look at the separation that it will cause as a political figure, as an academician, as whatever, as a pastor, or as a reverend. Look at it. There's no one that will say, 20 years after the man's death, we all live happy hereafter. Not one. So, when you want to set up a journey, and you know at the end of the journey, there's a deep, 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 deep hole. Why do you want to start the journey? And you're already seeing the hole. So why do you want to start the journey?
Thank you so much, Muiwa, for being so frank and candid on this subject of polygamy. I cannot say anything more because I'm so, you've been real, you've been factual, you have spoken from experience, and then you have told us what you feel sincerely about polygamy. We'll be back after the break. Welcome back. Muiwa was very candid. I mean, the truth may be bitter, but he's gone through the experience. We know that, we understand that sometimes pressure from family, pressure from society, expectations, can push especially women into, or young girls, into going into polygamy. But what about the men who have gone past their, I don't want to say, they've had the best of their life.
Their prime.
Their prime,
prime.
and
They've
then you
gone past
put
their
young
sell-by
girls
dates.
through, through the rigors of this kind of relationship and setup.
It's a two-way street. It's a two-way street.
How do we encourage these young
if
women?
If you are willing to be that, then you'll always find somebody to join. Look, it's a two-way street. It's not only the men that are at fault, it's also the women, also the young girls. And I think what Muiwa said is I'm sad, really, at the end of the day. Because for us to affect lives that are just starting so badly, years later he's sitting here talking about that, and you can see the change in him. You can see the sadness in him. I think that's enough reason to deter anyone from going into that. But truthfully, if you wake up and you decide that's a life you want for yourself because you're greedy, because of money, or whatever reason, then tough luck with whatever you get there. Because truthfully, it isn't rosy. And they will find out once they get into that marriage.
So, do you share the same view as
Well, I would say, looking at him, I can feel the pain.
Empathize.
I can understand, you know, the expression on his face, and forget the adults, you know. A grown woman, a grown man, they want to go into polygamy, they want to do whatever it is they want to do. It's fine. What my concern is, these children, you know, that are brought into this polygamous situation, how it affects their lives, and what they go through in life, and then what they turn out to be as a result of a situation that they had no choice or control over. They're the ones that makes me sad, because where does it end? I mean,
food for thought. I mean, I would say that, you know, polygamy. Muiwa was very direct. It didn't mince his words. But for anyone who wants to go into it, you really have to think twice. You know, you have to see the bigger picture. You cannot look at the immediate gains, if there are any, but look at the long term. The happiness is not for a short period. It's for a lifetime. If you want happiness, if you want contentment, if you want your children to grow up in a healthy environment, if you want your children to have stability in life, I don't think polygamy is the way to go. My personal opinion. It's been great having you watching Amazons today. We'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.